What is going on, everybody? It is Complexity, and I'm bringing you some more Chizoid. The last video Chizoid we watched, it was a little iffy here and there, but this is 8 most disturbing things that YouTubers have found in the forest. Now, as we know, the forest is a wonderful, wonderful place to find creepy, very, very creepy items. Let's get right to it, guys.
Deep in the woods, this YouTuber stumbled upon a landline phone. He picked up the receiver, and what he heard chilled him to the bone.
Bohemian Grove.
Bohemian Grove is a private, all-male club that gathers once a year in the forests of Monterey, California. Surrounded by secrecy, the place has long been the subject of conspiracy theories, mostly because no one really knows what goes on during these exclusive meetings.
Well, a lot of the time it's like people believe that like Bohemian Grove is like for like satanic rituals and human sacrifices. Like I'm sure everybody's heard at least some crazy story about Bohemian Grove. And like, you know, let's just be real. There's more than enough shit that happens in not in secrecy that could lead to these types of horror stories potentially being true. Because like George Carlin said, you don't need an official what is his famous line? You don't need an official conspiracy when people who all have the same agenda come together.
The property is protected year-round with surveillance cameras and guard dogs. A YouTuber known as Dancer claims to have repeatedly trespassed onto the grounds, documenting what he found. He explored cabins that, according to him, lock from the outside, and described a deeply unsettling atmosphere, both inside the buildings and in the surrounding forest. He also filmed several other mysterious structures on the property, from massive wooden buildings to strange industrial setups with no clear purpose. One of the most unforgettable moments came when he came across a phone hidden in the woods, playing eerie music.
My only question is like, what proof is there that this is actually Bohemian Grove? And why would you go at night? Why wouldn't you go during the day? So that way you could see it better. You know what I'm saying?
Like a minute or two ago, there was some pretty creepy noises in the trees. Probably just some animals, but you can never be so sure. Here's an AED. Oh, there's no AED in here. That looks like a poisonous spider. Fuck you, dude.
Well, it would be venomous, but yeah, not poisonous. Why is it that so many people don't know the difference between poison and venom? Venom, it bites you. Poison, you ingest it or bite it, essentially.
Hello?
I wouldn't really call this disturbing. Sounds like some wait music. Might be eerie because you're listening to it at night.
All right. Phone will ring in hospital and security. Well, I should have read that before I touched it. I might have just blown my cover.
When he picked it up, he realized he might have triggered something and feared getting caught. Luckily, no one showed up. According to him, he returned to the site multiple times, but the mystery of what really happens there still hasn't been solved. His videos quickly gained traction online, but shortly after, he received a letter, the contents of which remain unknown.
It's a real mail, guys. It's crazy. It is our information that, in spite of the private nature of the Bohemian Club, you have made unauthorized entries into the Bohemian Grove.
Okay, but if he's not... See, this is where like the story kind of gets a little bit more difficult to believe, because it's like, if this is true evidence of you being contacted by people from Bohemian Grove, why would you turn around and not just take a picture of it and black out the line, like black out what you don't want people to see, like whether it's your name or something like that? Why is it that you would you know, cover all of it up. It just doesn't make too much sense to me. And then does he have any videos of him like going there in the morning, like during the day, and proving that he's in Bohemian Grove?
And that while you were on the property, you took unauthorized video recordings of the Grove and events happening at the Grove. We also understand that you have posted these unauthorized recordings on various social media sites.
What is known is that he was forced to delete every video related to Bohemian Grove from his channel. Only re-uploads posted by other users on various platforms remain today.
Well, I guess there's no real way to figure that one out. If he, you know, I guess we'd have to go and do further research, but I, I don't care enough about the story to go do that.
While scouting out potential spots for riding, a motorcyclist comes across something unsettling. The creator of the YouTube channel Theo Freakin' Door is riding through a wooded area when he notices
That's
something
actually a pretty
unusual
good
in the
name.
distance. He and his friend decide to check it out on foot, but as they walk, an eerie sense of unease sets in, like they're being watched. With each step, the feeling intensifies. Eventually, they stumble upon a large, square patch of freshly disturbed earth.
What is that?
You
No
can
way.
yeah, you can definitely tell something was dug there.
I didn't really like see it until you said something. Dude, that was straight up like, hold on. I want to get a good yeah, I want to get a good view of it. Dude, somebody was digging a grave out here. Oh god.
Could have been for an animal. You never know. That's way too small.
They only stick around long enough to film it,
Wow.
but the sight leaves them shaken. According to them, the hole is far too large to be meant for a dog.
Look at this. That's like, I don't know if it would be far too large for a dog. You can have some pretty big dogs, but I mean, it could also be a deer. It could, I mean, what's the wildlife that's out there, you know? But it is the eerie feeling. I mean, of course, if you're out in the woods, very far away from most civilization, and you see a grave, most people are going to think someone got buried or is getting buried.
Or any
But it also doesn't look like somebody was actively like digging it at that time. Look, it's covered over with leaves and everything, and it looks like some people have already driven through here.
kind of household pet. It gives off the chilling impression that someone might have been buried there, and not long ago.
But if they were buried there, then all of this, like this mound of dirt here, would most likely be over on this. It looks like it's an open grave or an open hole, whatever it is that they were trying to bury.
This YouTuber from the channel Exploring with Bear, known for documenting forest explorations, camping trips, and strange discoveries, stumbled upon something truly unsettling this time. During one of his hikes, he came across an abandoned campsite, a tent, an old bicycle, scattered belongings. Everything
Could have
looked
been
as if
homeless
someone
people.
had left in a hurry and never came back.
Oh, it's right
Hello?
next to the road. But that's just the wind, buddy. It is, I would definitely say that's unsettling, right? Like you're seeing remnants of
I
humanity.
hope there isn't somebody else frozen in here.
It honestly
Things have
looks like
changed. Somebody's
homeless
still
people.
using it.
Yeah, it looks like homeless people live there.
Man, it stinks in there.
A few days later, he learned that just a few miles from that exact spot, a man had recently been found dead, a victim of extreme cold.
Yeah.
Coincidence? Hard to believe.
That would
All
make
signs
sense.
point to that being his camp. It's possible the man left in search of help and never made it. The
In
place
search
felt
of help, but the road was like right next to the campsite.
heavy with tension. Standing there even for a couple of minutes was almost unbearable. The cold,
Look, like the road is right here.
the silence, the dense woods all around, and the tent, now a haunting reminder of someone's final night. Bear filmed everything, sharing his thoughts with the camera, unable
Look, the road is right there. And then there's a house right here. Like if it was really, like if they were truly looking for help, he could have gone over to this little house right here and seeked better shelter or something.
To shake the feeling that this wasn't just a random find, as if the trail itself had led him there for a reason, to tell this story. In 1986, 19-year-old Christopher Knight disappeared from his home in Maine and chose to live deep in the woods, for no clear reason. To survive, he stole food from dozens of nearby cottages and campsites. During these break-ins, he also took clothing, camping gear, propane tanks, batteries, and other supplies. Locals
Interesting.
eventually became aware of his presence. Some even began leaving out food and essentials on purpose, hoping to prevent him from breaking into their homes at night. Despite the fact that people knew about his existence, one thing was certain. Christopher did not want to be found. He went to great lengths to remain hidden. For example, he never started a fire, fearing the smoke would give away the location of his camp. Winters in the area were brutally cold, with temperatures dropping as low as 10 degrees Fahrenheit,
Oof.
around minus 12 degrees Celsius. Still, he refused to make fires. Instead, he'd wrap himself in multiple sleeping bags to stay warm.
Yeah, that's
As
what I was
surveillance
thinking.
cameras
Yep.
became more common over the years, some of his thefts started to show up on footage. Then, 27 years after he vanished, he accidentally triggered a motion sensor while attempting to steal food from a camp. Police
Why?
responded and found him right there. It was his
Makes no
first human
sense.
contact in decades, and it led straight to his arrest. Authorities had finally located the man behind thousands of petty thefts in the region. In the end, Christopher was sentenced to 7 months in jail and 3 years of probation. Later, a blogger searching for a wild camping spot stumbled upon Knight's old campsite by chance. It was packed with items collected over the decades, from stolen gear to everyday essentials. It was confirmed to be Christopher Knight's hidden camp.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't really call this disturbing. If anything, I'd be like, man, this is a historical find. And for somebody wanting to keep such a low profile, he sure as hell had a lot of shit. It's interesting, though, that's for sure. Definitely interesting.
This guy recently uploaded a deeply unsettling and shocking video to his YouTube channel, titled, "I found a camera belonging to a missing person." He actually discovered a GoPro deep in the woods, and what was on it was seriously disturbing.
That looks
He
like
was
it's
walking alone
brand
when he
new.
noticed an abandoned tent camp along the way. Switching on the camera on his phone, he began documenting everything he saw. Belongings were scattered everywhere. The campfire had long since burned out, and the whole area was covered with fallen leaves. It looked as though the people had vanished in an instant.
Damn, that's a whole lot of nice new shit. You never know. Maybe it was a homeless person. They ended up getting like arrested or something.
The most horrifying part was that, inside the camp, he stumbled upon a dead, torn-apart dog, which he buried in the ground. A little further on,
Aw.
he came across the GoPro camera.
Could have been
Before
wolves.
handing it
You
over
never
to the
know.
police, the young man played the recordings and saw mysterious footage that might help shed light on where the man had disappeared. He saved the files onto his computer and then
That dude has a blue jacket on, and he has a blue jacket, but the blue jacket has stripes on it. Okay.
Before handing it over to the police, the young man played the recordings and saw mysterious footage that might help shed light on where the man had disappeared. He saved the files onto his computer and then gave the evidence to the investigators.
Does he speak at all? Because my biggest concern, or not concern, my biggest question is, how do we know that this guy didn't just film all of this? You know what I'm saying? How do we know that this dude didn't just film all this stuff and then just uploaded it and pretended like it wasn't him? Because it's odd that the dude's not talking whatsoever. And there's no dog. This seems like a short horror film, like a makeshift like skit horror film. And they're not talking whatsoever. Whatsoever. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. This seems like a setup. This seems fake. GoPros, yeah, GoPros don't give off that much light. And he's not talking whatsoever. The person isn't talking at all, which makes me believe that it was the dude who found the GoPro who made this. Because who is gonna think that there's somebody outside their freaking camp and not yelling, not saying hey, not like making noise whatsoever? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. It's completely out of human nature. Even if the person was like homeless or something, they'd still be yelling like, hey, that's my stuff. That's da 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 da. It seems like an attempt to go viral.
The nature reserve where it all happened covers about 10 square miles. It was here just 4 days earlier that the man had vanished without a trace. Search teams and police found no clues whatsoever. The footage from the camera had to be shortened because of repetition, but the strangest and most unsettling moments were left intact. Who was he filming all this for? What exactly happened to him? Perhaps someone had been following him, or maybe a wild animal approached his tent at night. It's possible he was running from someone and dropped the camera on the tracks near the bridge. Or maybe he vanished into the ground entirely, never to be found again. There are thousands of theories,
I don't know, man.
not a single answer. What is certain is that this was the place where everything happened.
It seems fake as hell.
This was the very spot later examined by police, who carried out a full inspection of the camp. The young man who found the camera was also questioned. To this day, nothing is known about the missing person. No official details have been released.
It seems fake as hell. It seems like this dude, like, because here, like, my biggest issue here is that the dude didn't talk whatsoever, and it makes no human sense as to why the person wouldn't speak even to themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Metal Detecting in the Netherlands is a YouTube channel with a name that speaks for itself. One of its videos, titled Found Treasure Chest While Metal Detecting, has already racked up over 13 million views. In the 6-minute clip, the creator captures an unexpected discovery in a quiet, wooded area. While walking alone through the forest with his metal detector, he came across a hidden spot, and the detector immediately signaled something below. He began digging, but soon his shovel hit a large metal plate.
It looks like some sort of plate or something. Look at that.
Maybe it was somebody's like bug out
kit. He cleared away the
kit.
dirt and fallen leaves to reveal the edges of the plate, and eventually lifted it. To his surprise, beneath it was a small, neatly dug out space containing a medium-sized chest.
Ooh.
Whoa, what the hell? Oh my god. That looks like
Maybe it was like a time capsule or
treasure chest to
something.
me. Oh my god.
Has it got a button there for something?
What is that?
It's a chest. Pull it out. Open it up.
Let's take it out of the hole.
Yeah, let's see what's up. Let's see what's in it.
It's very
Ooh,
heavy.
heavy. Well, it's real wood, I imagine. Oh yeah, you got some wires in there.
Look,
What is that? Is that's like a meter or
what
something?
could that be?
Yeah, and it's got some. Looks like it's got some wires.
Over there.
Or is that branches?
Heavy locks on there too.
Oh, those are new locks. Okay, so this is a relatively new.
Inside, taped to the bottom, was a long note explaining the purpose of the chest. It turned out to be part of a global GPS-based treasure hunting game.
Ah,
The rules were simple.
okay.
Find the container, share it with others, take something from inside, and
And then
leave
put it
something in
back.
return.
Yeah.
Kind of like a take a penny, leave a penny system.
But
The
why
note
would this
also
be?
encouraged the find
But why would this be considered disturbing? Like, if anything, this I would look at this more as like a kind of like a historical type of deal, you know? Like this is interesting, like something from long, from days long past where people don't really do interactive like stuff like this anymore. I'm not saying that they don't at all, but it's like,
reminder to join the community and keep the game going. So no, he didn't strike it rich with gold or ancient artifacts, but he did uncover something fascinating, a game that many people don't even know exists.
it probably doesn't exist anymore.
The man behind the Red Poppy Ranch YouTube channel had already made several attempts to find something strange and unsettling that, according to local stories, was supposedly discovered on his own property. After 3 unsuccessful searches, he decided to hop on his ATV and give it one more try. This time, he spotted an old fence post, the same one a friend had mentioned. It used to be part of a livestock corral, which meant he was finally close to the area he'd been looking for. Sure enough, just a few minutes later, he came across an overgrown patch of land that looked different from everything else around
You're
it.
telling me this dude
That's
went
where
out
he found a small
looking for a child's gravesite?
grave.
Oh, what do we got here? There we go.
Damn, 1 years old.
So now, I'm gonna go see if I can figure out what happened.
The marker carried the name of a boy who was only 1 year old, born in the late 1940s. Red Poppy Ranch lives in a small town where it seems like everyone knows each other. But when he started asking around, no one recognized the last name written on the cross: Gold. He searched through local records but found nothing. No documents, no explanations. The only thing he was able to confirm was that the winter of 1949 had been particularly harsh in that region. It's possible the child didn't survive the cold, but why he was
That would
buried
make sense,
alone,
yeah.
deep in the woods, far from any cemetery or community, that remains a mystery. And chances are, we may never know the full story.
Well, they had to get it commissioned in some way, shape, or form, unless there was somebody like who knew the child that could make a tombstone like that, that could make a gravestone like that. Because that's actual craftsmanship. Now that's unfortunate. I wouldn't really call it disturbing though. I would just say that, that's interesting and it's sad and all that. Then sometimes that happens though, where people will be like naturalists or survivalists or, especially back in the 1940s and stuff like that. They could have just decided, hey, you know what? We own this plot of land. We don't really want it to be, we want them to be buried on the land and we don't want it to be disturbed by anything. So we're going to do it somewhere very far out. It's sad, man. It's definitely sad.
There's a YouTube channel called Safety Third, run by a guy named Jed. He specializes in solo explorations of remote, hard-to-reach locations, mostly abandoned mines deep in the wilderness. His videos offer a raw,
Crazy
unfiltered
for
look at
doing
the
that,
dangers he
man.
faces.
Absolutely
Cave-ins,
crazy.
collapsing tunnels, tight
Yeah.
spaces, and total isolation.
I don't
But
think
one
I would
particular
do
trip
that.
wasn't just risky. It genuinely shook
It's one thing to go into an abandoned building. It's another thing to go into an abandoned mine shaft. Okay. You can't just like scramble your way out of there.
him. It started like any of his other adventures. Jed set out to explore a set of old mines in a remote valley. Along the way, he crossed an icy creek, trekked through dense woods, and climbed over an old railroad bridge. At one point, he heard a loud crash. Something massive had come loose and tumbled down the hillside.
Something's knocking wood up there. I don't know. That's weird.
He looks like he might have been in the
At
military
first,
with
he
that
figured it was
haircut.
probably just a fallen tree. But deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling that he wasn't alone. The deeper he went, the stranger things got. Somewhere in the woods, he heard sharp, rhythmic knocking, like something hitting wood. He tried to explain it away, maybe an animal, but the unease was growing. When he finally reached the mine entrances, the atmosphere changed completely. Almost all of them were sealed shut. Thick metal bars, concrete walls, welding. It
Well, they
felt like
usually
someone
do that
didn't
when
just
they
want to keep
abandon
people
them.
out. Maybe they wanted to keep something in. At one of the sealed entrances, he peered inside and saw a huge, solid tunnel stretching into the darkness.
Well, they want to stop people from going in there because it might
How do
collapse
we get over this?
or have been collapsed.
I bet that sucker goes somewhere too. This old electrical, freaking concrete man door. I can't tell how old that is. How is this even in there? Is it bolted? Oh, it's welded and then they bolted into the rock.
All the more
Then,
reason to
out
not
of
go in
nowhere,
there.
A chilling scream echoed through the trees. It didn't sound like an animal. It didn't sound human either. Whatever it was, it froze him in place. That moment flipped the entire experience.
Hand is dry.
That sounded human. That definitely sounded human. It sounded like a dude.
What the freak? That was weird.
What started as an adventure quickly turned into a warning. Jed decided not to push his luck and made his way back to the trail. No, he didn't explore the mines that day, but he walked away with something far more important: the gut feeling that leaving was the right call.
Smart. Okay, smart. Okay, we finally got a little disturbing video here. Okay, look. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go and explore these mines and all that if that's your passion, if that's what you want to do. But what you need to understand is that people going missing isn't a non-common occurrence. These mines are abandoned for a reason, because of cave-ins, because of their structural security or their non-structural security. And they have these, like, they're boarded up for that specific reason. So animals, kids, and adults don't go wandering in there getting lost or getting hurt or dying or something, you know? Most of these videos I wouldn't really say are disturbing. I would just say like they're interesting. They're interesting, and they have like some questions around them for sure. But one thing that we always got to remember is that like the human mind does not do well with puzzles. We always want to figure out an excuse or a reason behind everything. We don't do good with like answers that don't sit well with us there. And even then, it's even hard too for a lot of the time for the human mind to take a simple answer for something that seems complex, you know? But it's been interesting. Anyways, guys, that's been me. Link to the video in the description below. Let me know in the comments down below, what is one of the weirdest, freakiest, most disturbing, craziest, or funniest? What is one of the most interesting things that you have ever found out in the woods, whether it was your backyard or some intense woodage like this or something? But I've been Complexity, you guys. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for watching with me. And as always, I will catch you in the next one.